shifting our focus to the other big story that we're tracking this evening. In a strange observation by the Madras High Court regarding a couple's divorce, a division bench of Justices V.M. Velmani and S. Sontar made an observation, and I'm quoting from that, removing a Mangalsutra by a wife amounts to mental cruelty for the husband. Yes, this was while allowing a civil miscellaneous appeal from C. Shivakumar, working as a professor in a medical college in Erode. He sought to quash the orders dated from 2016, refusing divorce to him. The Madras High Court has observed that while granting divorce to the aggrieved man, and again I'd like to quote, the removal of the Mangalsutra by an estranged wife would amount to subjecting the husband to mental cruelty of the highest order. The bench also said, and I'm quoting again, that a Mangalsutra around the neck of a woman was a sacred thing which symbolizes the continuance of married life, and it is removed only after the husband's death. Therefore, its removal by the petitioner or the wife here can be said to be an act which reflected mental cruelty, as it could have caused agony and hurt the sentiments of the respondent. Now, many activists are divided as far as raising the question that can a removal of Mangalsutra really be grounds as far as a divorce is concerned. I'll take that question to our guests in just a bit, but first we just want to show you where things stand. First, what was the division bench which was quoted by the Madras High Court? Mangalsutra removal reflects mental cruelty of the highest order. As I pointed out, no woman would remove a Mangalsutra while the husband still lives, essentially mean that you have to wear it for the entire lifetime of the husband. Mangalsutra around the neck of a woman is a sacred thing, part of rituals that have been followed for years. Mangalsutra symbolizes the continuance of a married life. So if you remove it, it would essentially mean that you're trying to end the marriage. Now, this was as far as what the division bench had said, and this was observed then by the Madras High Court. Let's also now talk to you a little more in detail of what we heard from the Madras High Court as well. As I pointed out, removal of the Mangalsutra often treated as an unceremonious act. This is where a lot of activists are divided. Removal of Mangalsutra draws inference about the wife's intention. This again is something that has divided a lot of activists. So the question that we're asking is the removal of the Mangalsutra enough ground for mental cruelty? Let me bring in our guests who are joining us this evening. We have men's rights activist Deepika Narayan Bhardwaj, and we have women rights activist Yogita Bhayana. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Yogita, let me begin with you first. This has seen a lot of activity on Twitter, social media. People seem to be divided. The essential question is, does the removal of a Mangalsutra, which is essentially a religious symbol which one wears when the marriage begins, or when the ceremony of the marriage actually begins, once you remove that Mangalsutra, is that ground enough as far as a divorce is concerned?
I am appalled, actually. I'm really appalled. I have no words even to express how I'm feeling about this statement coming from a judge who's supposed to be very sensitive, because we are trying that, gender sensitive kind of people sitting on such positions. When these kind of statements come, no, it is very hurtful to demeaning, because mental cruelty, what is so cruel about it? Men don't even wear any symbol. Even women, they are wearing out of whatever, it has been there for ages. So what about when she goes through a labor pain, when she is medically ill, she removes it, so we are like going ahead so much in life as society, as becoming gender neutral, gender sensitive, not patriarchal. These statements, just pull us 30, 40 years or 100 years ago, 100 years back. So I am really, I don't know what is the ground for divorce or not, but it is for sure not a cruelty. And I don't know how we can't, who's divided on it. I'm really surprised at who can be divided on this. I think they really need to do introspection, and also kind of, before making such statements, they have such a huge impact on our social fabric. Any which ways we are so regressive as a society, we really need to think that, these people, because they are sitting on certain positions, should not get away by making such statements, and we really need to think twice, thrice, or 100 times before making such bizarre statements or bizarre judgments. Rather, I would put it this way. This is really sad story, you know.
Deepika, let me bring you in. There was one part of this observation which really caught my attention, and I'd like to read from it. The act of the respondent, which is the wife in this case, and removal of the Mangalsutra points towards intentions about the party. So the question that I'm trying to understand is, does removal of a Mangalsutra show any intention? Because there are a lot of women out there who don't even wear a Mangalsutra. So will they be seen as not loyal to their husbands, or what is the larger message that we're trying to send out?
I would want to begin by telling Yogita that, Yogita, this judgment in no way takes us 30, 40 years back. Headlines, usually catch attention of people, but let me take you through the background of the case where since the beginning of your argument, you're asking whether this is a ground enough. No, this is not a ground enough, not otherwise, not in this case as well. The court has pointed out in various other paragraphs that the wife has been living separately from the husband for the last 11 years. There were no attempts for reconciliation. The wife had leveled false allegations of extramarital affairs on the husband. He is a teacher. She connected his name with various teachers and students also, and she defamed him in front of all of those people. So the court has looked at entirety of the case, which usually happens in divorce cases. To just give you an example, there was a Madhya Pradesh High Court judge's comment that went viral a few days ago, where the judge said कि अगर पत्नी आपको पीटती है तो उसको प्रसाद की तरह ले लीजिए. So the point I'm trying to make is that it is sad and it's unfair as well that laws and judgments these days are dependent a lot on the background of the judge and what his worldview is. I personally see this judgment as a very personal view of this judge, who he has, gone ahead and mentioned it in the judgment as well. Very important point here to note is that the same Madras High Court judgment few years ago had categorically said it is not essential for a woman to, show the sanctity of marriage by wearing a Mangalsutra, which clearly says that these are divergent personal point of views of judges who are adjudicating on the case. But the larger point is, just not wearing a Mangalsutra is not enough ground for divorce. It is not the enough ground for mental cruelty to just go and ask for a divorce, and it is not taking the society or the country back 30, 40 years at all.
Yogita, the